Hey guys, and welcome to another episode of the Purple Patch podcast. So today we have two very special guests with us. They are tarot readers, Aaradhana Di and Margarida Làzaro. I'm really sorry if I'm pronouncing it right.
It's okay. It was perfect.
So Aaradhana Di goes by Vibra to Live on Instagram, and Margarida goes by the Sunny Virgo. So for people who believe in tarot, please watch till the end, and you'll get some really interesting insights. And for people who don't believe in tarot, please watch till the end and show us some love. Okay, so Sunny Virgo, she's from Portugal, and a tarot card reader, focuses mainly on self-care and self-love. And Aaradhana Di is a tarot and angel card reader. She also consults in numerology, graphology, access bar, pranic healer, and family constellation. So welcome you two.
Thank you.
Really happy to have you. Yeah. Okay. So Aaradhana Di, I'll begin with you. How did you get into tarot reading?
So my dad was an astrologer, and he was blessed with a lot of psychic abilities as well. And I have actually been into a media industry. I've been like an assistant choreographer for quite a long time. So that includes Bollywood, your television industry, and even the Hollywood as well. So I've seen, like, he's consulted lot many film celebrities as well and all. And obviously when you have your friends and all, so that's how I was very intrigued, trying to know about it. And it is always curious, like, how you can predict somebody's future and how you can guide people, and how can you tell, like, what is right and what is wrong and what's going in someone's mind. That was very curious for me. So I used to always ask him, like, how do you do that? Like, I want to learn. And, you have your friends, they kind of tease you, like, your dad knows, you don't know. So that was also another push for me. So my father said it's actually science, but darling, whenever you think you have a calling is when you are going to study it and then you're going to go for it. Okay, otherwise don't. If you don't have a calling, then don't go for it. So I was like, okay. So eventually I was into it, but then I had a lot of intuitive powers that at some point it started hitting me up, and I started telling my friends and all, which kind of came very clear. That's where I said, like, okay, I think I should get into it. That's where I got into it. I studied, as you kind of introduced me, with the tarot and the angels and the access bar, graphology, numerology. These are all interconnected with science, and pranic healer and family constellations. So that's where I studied and I started practicing. So I was actually practicing 4 or 5 years back amongst my friends and all. Professionally, I just started off 2 or 3 years back. And when I started, professionally doing it, I kind of got many good feedbacks and all. And yeah, I kind of enjoyed it. Like, it's like more of exploring yourself also and exploring the opposite person as well. So yeah, it's been like professionally 2 or 3 years, but otherwise, if you see, then it's been like 4 or 5 years I've actually been doing it. So that's how my history goes.
I have one more question for you, which is that she's used a lot of amount of terms in your introduction, right? So like, if you can actually like explain a little bit about each of them, it'll be great.
Yeah.
Okay. Yes, because see, in layman terms, a lot of people don't actually understand what these words mean.
Yes.
Yes. For them.
So yeah. So okay. So tarot card reading, everybody is aware. It's all about cards that we all have. There are different versions of tarot cards. Like, it's actually like playing cards. In the initial, if you like, many people kind of relate, like, you guys are playing the cards. how you play the cards. So tarot cards are in different versions. That's how basically tarot card is, where like you get to know your past, present, future, everything, whatever you want. Angel card reading is also, they are a set of oracle cards. Okay, so oracle cards, difference between tarot cards and oracle cards, but according to me is, tarot gives you an in-depth, and it gives you directly the answer. It's like a yes or a no, and not very sarcastic, but they will give it to the point what is happening. Okay, when it comes to angels, they are these beautiful divine energies of the divine, which I in my life always called universe. So this could be whatever you believe in, like Jesus or any deity or any saint for that matter. Like there are other like everybody carries their own belief. So whomsoever you believe, that's the divine. That's a beautiful energy. So angels is something, because I am an angel freak. So I love angels. So we are always born with beautiful angels, and till we pass away, till we leave this beautiful earth, we have angels with us, and everybody carries them, like from the dog to the lizard to any reptile in your house that pops up, to infants, everybody, even the plants, they have angels. So angels can be anything. They can be your ancestors. Like they say your granny is watching, your grandpa is watching someone. So they can be any of your ancestors. They are beautiful messengers of God. That is what they say. So there's always a beautiful energy that's always with us. Okay, so either you could have one or you could have two, depending, okay, whichever that angel is. So angel cards are like oracle cards you get. They kind of guide you. Like they won't be harsh like the tarot reading, but they will tell you, like how a mother nurtures the child, saying, darling, don't do this, please do this, have this now. That's exactly how angels are trying to guide you. So that is tarot and that is angel. Now I have learned access bar. Okay, so access bar is another set of therapy that is done in personal. You can't do it on like like a one-to-one like this. You have to be in personal. So in access bar, you have these points over here on your head. Okay, so this is like we call like the crown chakra, the up part. Okay, so that's where our points we need to activate. So there are a lot many memories we kind of carry from lot many times. So it's like our soul, like in most of my readings, I always say like our soul travels in lot many lives. Like we have lot many past lives as well. So once you get into like we are very curious to know what we were in our past life. That's how people ask in tarot also. Past life reading spread we do. Or sometimes there are other modalities like past life regression or hypnotherapy, because we want to know that, because our soul is always carrying all these memories from one of the fragment, and we are creating new memories. So sometimes we kind of get that deja vu feeling also,
Right.
like oh, or we are like I think I know you, but I don't know, like I find you very familiar. Or even if a stranger comes, you feel so good in that comfort zone because your soul recognizes. So all these memories are here, and if you really want to release those memories, you kind of work on these points. That's how. So there's always an energy exchange that happens. And it's again science. Cosmic, planetary things, it's all related in science. And we know science is all about cosmic and neuroscience and everything comes in that. So this is access bar. Okay. Then we come to graphology. Simple words, handwriting.
Handwriting.
Whatever you write, those create the vibrations, and that's exactly how you get to read. So in school times, like we used to write in that cursive writing or block writing. Sometimes our handwriting goes haywire. Sometimes we write very minutely, like and we write and then again we scribble. So these are again your traits in your behavior. That also guides a graphologist to help you, because this is what is our duty. Like we need to help you in enhancing and coming out of whatever issues you could be doing. So in short, graphology is all about handwriting analysis. Then we come to numerology. Numerology is all about numbers from 1 to 10 or 1 to 9 or from 0 to 9. These numbers are again in tarot cards as well, like from 0 to 10. And then again, a new number starts from 0, because again, 10 Again, it comes to 11, 12. So it's just that one digit and then the 2, 3, 4, 5, it goes. So it goes to hundreds or whatever. So even if you add like 1 plus 0 comes 1. But 0 plus 1 again will come 1, right? So that's how it goes. So numerology is all again about science. It's all about vibrations. So even our names, like, they carry vibrations. So in numerology, what we do is if a spell correction is required, a name change, not a complete name change. Like for me, for example, I will take my name. Like my name is Aaradhana, right? So whatever spelling I make, the alphabet also carries some vibrations. So when people call out my name, that again is vibrational. That's exactly how the entire universe works on. It works on vibrations. So your name also brings in a lot of name, fame, success, hardships as well. So that's where numerology helps you, saying like, if your name is correct, then you have success. But if you want to enhance by adding some alphabet, if required, then the numerologist will guide you. So numerology again is science that helps you in building. And plus there are remedies in other modalities as well, which they guide you, like, do this, avoid this. So numerology again, tarot and numerology in some way are interrelated, because again there are numbers in the tarot cards as well in down. So that also helps in tarot readers also to explain through numerology. They can help. It's kind of interlinked, you can say that. And then pranic, I'm learning pranic. I'm still learning in that. So pranic is again science. It's all about breathing. That is the main thing. Like, a lot many people fear what is going to happen in the future, or they are cribbing about the past. But they don't realize that if you lose your breath, you are finished. It's a very simple thing. Like, you close your nose and you close your mouth and just stop your breath and see. So that is the main thing. And people don't breathe properly. It's a very artificial breathing they do. So in pranic also they teach you, in yoga also they teach you how to do proper breathing. And plus energies are all around us, everywhere. We are surrounded with energies. Our body is also breathing energy. So whatever we eat, like, the food, whatever our moms cook, or, if we order from somewhere, or even when we cook, there are energies in that as well. So sometimes, when we eat somewhere outside, we are like, oh, I got a stomach infection. Something went wrong. So it's not necessary that the food was bad, but the person who could have made, or the water that could have come up, like, whatever the surrounding could be, it could have triggered you. And if your immune system is weak, again that could have triggered you all the more. So through pranic, we get to know, like, how the energies, how you can balance your energies so that you don't get exhausted as well. So in pranic, there are different levels where you can heal people, and I love to heal people. I mean, it's all about psychological issues. That's what I guess even Margarida will agree, that most of our clients are all psychologically affected. More than physical, it's more about mental stress that they carry. So pranic is another healing modality where you can help. And family constellation, what I call it, like a PhD. It's like, the ultimate thing. I mean, there are other things also, but family constellations, to put it in short, it's like, you have your behavioral patterns in your family system, like a tree, family tree we call. So it's like we know our grandparents, like, 2 generations we know. Like my dad, I know his father, and probably I might be knowing his father. But who is his father? Who is his mother? That tree history I don't know. So if there is any behavioral pattern that you're dealing with, for example, in most of the cases I have attended, is like, if someone is like, in the family, at times you find there is someone who's drinking a lot. The person is super intelligent, but this person just can't give up, and the person becomes a rebel, and the person just enjoys drinking. And then like, the uncle is drinking, then the son is drinking, it just follows that pattern in the family. Or probably a girl is not getting married. If she gets married, then she comes back home for some silly reasons, but she's not happy. Or probably there's someone who's not able to conceive a child, or there are some delays or some miscarriages happen. So these are behavioral patterns. So in family constellation, we can actually get into that energy and find out what is giving a problem? Like, if it is following in some lineage, what is the problem and why is it occurring? Is it because someone has done something over there in your ancestral bit? Then we need to repair in that particular generation and repair in the other coming generation. So when it comes to your generation, we kind of put a closure so that when it has to go in the next generation, they are not affected or later to it. But if you don't, then darling, be happy, and then it will keep continuing. But family constellations is more, I would, because lot many people believe in that, and it gives quick results. It's like between 24 to 48 hours, you can see the shift. But then what my suggestion when it comes to family constellation is, I would say use it at the extreme level. When you can work on your emotional things, when as tarot readers, there are the holistic healers who are actually guiding you. It's little things you need to work up with. If you can work and you can solve that, then so be it. Don't get into an extreme. If you are on a deathbed, then it's something like that you have a will that you want to survive. Then you can go for a family constellation. That yes, like you want to be fine. But if you don't have a will and you're like, I've lived my life, I want to go. Then why do you want to pull for your selfish reasons? Like I want that person to survive. So then I wouldn't. So family constellation is an extreme measure I usually ask for, or depending on the tarot reading. So whenever I have clients, first thing I always get into through the tarot, and then we find out what is required. If it is required, only then. Otherwise, I mean, it makes, because there is a lot of intensity in the energy as well. So, and because it's a quick result, we need to be very extremely careful in that entire energy zone. So yeah, that's all about it. And there are not many things also I have to learn, but then I think I've learned enough, like because you need to make use of whatever things you learn also. Otherwise, lot many people, they have that, you have that craving, like I want to learn this also, I want to learn that also. But then if you're not making use of it, darling, like knowledge is always beautiful. But if you're not making use for yourself, for the people around, then I think you're just wasting your time, and you're not respecting that knowledge as well, because there's a teacher who's investing in you as well. So just to have a tag beside your name also doesn't matter. You need to make use of it and spread that awareness is what I am more concerned about. But if you ask me on personal level, I love doing tarot readings. I thoroughly enjoy. It's my first love. I mean, there are other things I've learned out of curiosity, but then tarot and angel. Like initially, I loved angel. I was very attracted. So I learned angel card reading. And after a year or two is when I switched to tarot. That is because my friends said, like, people are very familiar with tarot reading. Angels is very much familiar in the West. Like people might relate to it. But in India, lot many people are not aware. Like, they're aware about astrology, numerology, not even graphology. Like, for a layman, handwriting bhi pad leti hu. Like, I read handwriting. Then they'll be like, acha, acha, acha. Okay. That's how the feedback comes in. But tarot has always been my first love. Like, you tell me any time of the day, I'll be like, yes, I'm there for you. So I love and I enjoy tarot readings. So yeah, that's about, in short, all these things I do. And yes, I do teach.
I mean, everything that you said right now, as a layman, because there are a lot of things that I didn't know.
Yeah.
Okay? I really didn't know.
Yeah.
But it has been so interesting to know it from you, and as well as a bit scary that you can actually get a person into 24,
Yes,
48 hours. You can help them out. It's like
it's like it's a blessing in disguise. Like as I say, when universe has chosen you for it,
exactly.
Then I think and if you love doing it, then do it.
Right.
Maybe that's how it's meant.
Yeah, I mean, these professions, especially these kind of professions where you're actually predicting someone's future, or you're actually telling them that this might happen. Prophecies you're making in a way, right?
Correct.
In that case, definitely you should have been chosen. Otherwise, it is not very easily possible that you're actually telling what God has been planning.
Yeah.
That's very, very, like, it's out of the way to think that way.
So probably I can always say, like because of tarot, probably, like I got to know how I can connect with the emotions of the person who's getting related with. Okay, so because we work on energies, tarot card readers or any holistic healer, like I always term such energies as holistic healing. It's all about healing process, because through tarot also we are healing people, we are guiding them, we're helping them. So that's the reason the holistic healer is the term I always love to introduce myself, because we are healing, we are healers who are healing through the mind and the body. So the mind is all about emotions, all your thought processes, and the body is the physical body. So we as healers, we are helping you in correcting everything.
Right.
Because everyone is born in a very beautiful way. They are nurtured, they're conditioned. And once we grow, because of the scenarios, we kind of develop our own perceptions and then our own experiences as well. And that's how we start going with the flow. And at times when we really don't like, then we start rebelling it. And when we rebel, sometimes it comes back to us, and then we are not ready for it. So for a few who are ready to accept, they will go with the flow, they will suppress. And the ones who are rebels, they will just give it back. Like, how dare you? That kind of thing. So through tarot, it kind of helped me also when I was learning the other energies also. Because, tarot is all about science. As I said, we get to know about the past, present, future. So through that, as a tarot reader also, we kind of get to know what this person is actually going and what is the guidance. It's all about giving you some solutions to your problems, if there is anything that is coming. And I can just add, when you kind of venture in different healing modalities, you know which healing modality is going to help that person. And we, I personally believe, we as tarot readers, we want you to work rather than we working on your behalf. Because the more you work, you will experience it. Like, how we cook food, somebody else cooks the food, but whatever we eat, it gets into our system, and then we kind of enjoy it. But when we make and we cook, and we are like, wow, I really made an awesome meal and I love this and all. So that's a completely different effect. So that's the reason, I personally feel that you should make that effort, is what I
Yeah,
feel.
and if
So
I
this
can
is how
add
it's all about.
something,
Yes.
Yes.
I actually feel like the true progress and the true growth only happens when it's you that has made the work. Because we are basically there talking. Of course, we're sharing our energy, our healing energy. We're trying to help them. But if the person doesn't want to accept that help, if they don't want to be there and to absorb those energies, then nothing will work. We can try, but it has to be that person to do the work and to climb that mountain. And that's only when true growth happens.
I would like to know how you got into tarot.
Yeah.
Right. I studied music for 16 years. I started really young. And then I went to college. And when I went to college, even at that time when I made the decision, I started by studying guitar, and I wanted to be a guitarist. And then I was like, oh, maybe it's not really this. And I went to composition, and I was like, okay, maybe soundtracks and stuff, maybe that's where we are supposed to go. And so I went there, but I went with a little bit of like, okay, if this is supposed to be where I'm going, I'm going to get in. I even just applied to one college, and I got in. But the thing is, it got to like the second year, and it just wasn't fulfilling. I was waking up every day and doing the assignments for my course, and I was like, man, I have to do this again, and I have to wake up another day. And so that was something that also got me into tarot. Was like, okay, what is going on here? What am I supposed to do with my life? And then I also I had a situation with a romantic situation, and I was really confused about that. And I wanted to know more about that. And I was kind of skeptic at the beginning, because I feel like, at least this is the perception that I have, is that in India and more towards Asia in general, I kind of feel like spirituality and tarot, it's much more accepted and even valued than here in Europe in general. Because here in Portugal, I feel like we're very Catholic. And I feel like tarot is seen as like a woo-woo thing, and it's things
yeah.
from witches, and oh my God, be
Yeah.
careful about that. And so that's a little bit how I was raised in a sense. And I came into tarot a little bit skeptic, but then like the first reading that I saw, it was so damn accurate. I was like, what is this? Where has this been my whole life? And I got really interested. And then I started studying, and I would even do more stuff for tarot. And when I started the YouTube channel, I would do more videos for YouTube than actually the assignments for college. And at that point, I was like, okay, I feel like this is telling me something. And so I actually, I fell in love, and it was just, I knew that I had to go through this path. And I feel like now that I'm looking back, I feel like I got into college to go through all those experiences, to go through all those questions to get me into tarot. And I feel like that's so fascinating how the universe, what I call
Yeah.
is universe, how it guides us to our life purpose and to our mission and to what we are actually supposed to do and the people we are supposed to meet. And I feel like ever since that point, that turning point, now I'm just like, okay, universe, bring it up. I'm ready. I'm ready. Like whatever you want to bring it on.
That's
Just
such
do
a
it.
beautiful story, though. It's actually a beautiful story. So yeah,
Yeah.
there I was coming to the point that because you guys heal, right? You in a way you call yourselves as healers, and for healing somebody, I think empathy is that one thing that you really really need to have in you. I mean, without that, it's not very much possible. But what happens is when you're feeling others' pain and when you're feeling that other is in a kind of a troubled situation, and you can read that they might get into a more troubled situation. Okay, like reading all of that, have you ever had sleepless nights that I don't know what's going to happen to that other person? Maybe they are like going to face a lot of troubles tomorrow, and I've told them this, but then yeah, you sometimes get attached to a person so much. So have you ever had those experiences where you felt like today I cannot get this situation out of my head and I don't know what to do about it? Have you ever like felt like that?
Yeah, 100%. I feel like, and I would even say, especially with us, because we're more empathetic, and I feel like our vibe check, it's more open, so we receive much more. But even in any other professional, in any other career, I feel like there are some situations that you go through that it kind of stays with you, and you're like, oh man, I wonder how that person is doing. And I always try to fight a little bit that with like I like to end my readings with some advice and some like guidance. Hey, this may happen, but this is what you can do to kind of avoid it, to kind of turn around it, to kind of heal it, to kind of surpass it. And so that kind of suits me as well, because if that person really was there with that advice and really follows it, I know that that person is going to make through. And also another thing is that I feel like we as healers, we attract people that kind of go through the same situations as we have went through.
Right.
Yeah, that's true. So in my case, like initially I used to get attached because it's for your friends and family. That's the first thing that we as healers, the first people we want to practice is we catch our immediate close people. And when we get to know, then it becomes a little difficult. But over a period of time, like, we kind of develop that thing. Like whatever Margarida said, I completely agree word to word, because if it's meant to happen, it'll happen. But what we can do is we can bless and we can pray for the well-being. So after the reading gets done, like when I do a tarot read, I always give the one who's asking for a question, I will always ask that person to take the correct decision, because we are giving you a clarity what is meant or what can happen. So be it our loved one or be it an outsider, whatever it is. So because of that person is it in so much of pain, suppression, and this person is actually stuck. That's where they reach out to us. So whenever the guidance comes up, I always say the way she said that yes, this may happen, this may not happen, but if it is meant to happen, you cannot change destiny. So it's like, if you're meant to have an accident,
Right.
Accident can come in any form. Like, you could actually be safe from a major accident, but even while cooking, you might just burn your finger, or you might just get a scratch on your hand. That's also an accident. Somebody might just say some harsh words to you that might just hurt you. Accidentally, somebody said something, or somebody just broke a glass and you kind of stepped on it unknowingly. That could be an accident. So it can be anything. Whatever it is, what is meant to happen will happen. But we are there to just to guide you. Like, just be careful, darling. And if it's an intensive one, a very heavy reading, if we encounter, and because we know, this person is going to go in that immense pain, what we can do is we can just bless, because we are blessed with that intuitive thing. So all we can do is we can pray for that person, that intensity can just be a little lower, or probably if that intensity has to be that strong, considering the karmic cycle, or considering whatever the destiny has in store, because maybe through that person will evolve, or some good prosperity is going to come in, then we can't go against time, right? We have to follow the time. Then just give that person the strength. That's the only affirmation we can give, or we can pray, or we can bless. So whatever that person has to grow will eventually grow. That is something we can't have. But yes, initially there was, but then over a period of time, I kind of learned that we need to disconnect. We need to be neutral in front of that person. And we have our cords connected with everyone. So once you cut that cord out as well, then you kind of disconnect with them as well. So, and then you leave up to destiny, because you have a pure heart. We don't have like, oh, something will go wrong, better go wrong. We will never want that, right? We want you to go up, like, we want happy things to come to you. So just bless. And it's like, be very pure from within. Send lots and lots of love, which Manjari knows I always do on my life. So, send, yeah, so just send love. It's like, love heals anything and everything. Because
That is
we all are craving for love, and self-love is the thumb rule, as I always say. We really don't do that.
right.
We kind of end up falling in love with the opposite person.
Right. Like at last, that question is for both of you, but I'd like to ask it to Margarita first. Okay, then we'll come to you again. So the thing is that I wanted to ask to you, which is that you people are also like people only, right? You're not anything apart from humans. You're humans, and whenever we get a bit of like fame and everything, that kind of like sometimes it gets to our head, and then we start thinking about ourselves like something larger than life that we are. That happens to each one of us, and then it has happened to everyone, right? So like, how do you deal with that thing that people are coming to you and they're asking you, and then they're like, ma'am, you're great, and you're getting all sorts of compliments and everything. Then does that affect your readings, or does that affect your like purity that you have to have in you while doing your job? Has it ever gotten in the way? Like, that is my question.
I think what she's trying to ask is, whenever you do a reading, does this ever distract you from the energies that you're feeling?
Exactly.
I think that was your question, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. I think it depends a little bit on people, because there are some people that fame just a little bit, it can get to their head and it's like, boom. There are other people that you can get this huge fame and you never think that you're enough.
Right.
And a lot of it comes from self-love. And for me personally, I was the type of person that I would, even in school, I would get a lot of praise from my teachers. I was always the best student, and everyone was always complimenting me and everything. And for me, that was never enough. And so instead of me focusing on the outside source of compliments, of fame, of recognition, I started working on the recognition for myself, from me to me. And that's why I focus so much on self-love. And I feel like I try to be more proud of myself than what other people are proud of me, because that for me is the first thing. That's for me is the most important thing. And again, I feel like it's more like that for me because I was always really hard on myself. And even with the Sunny Virgo, a lot of people could be giving me praise and I was like, oh man, I could be a bit better. Come on, that was a little bit, and I'm trying to work on that. So for me, I kind of feel like fame is going to be really hard to get me to this, to get me to a completely different person. But I feel like a lot of it comes from you. And even for those people that fame gets up there really quickly, I feel like it also comes from you and being a bit humble and being like, okay, well, I did this. I can maybe get better here and I can do a bit more there. And so I feel like more than getting for outside source for approval, it's getting your own approval. And when it
True.
comes to readings, ever since I shifted to that thing of being proud of myself, even when sometimes I get a bad comment, for example, I look back at that reading and I'm like, okay, but was it a good reading? Did you feel like it was a good reading? Were you feeling the vibe? Were you like there? And if I was, I'm like, okay, that was a bad comment. And not every reading is going to resonate with everyone. And so if it didn't resonate with that person, that's fine. That's okay. And so if it resonates with another person, that's great, man. It resonated with one person. And again, because I'm so self-conscious and because I'm so hard on myself, I really have to do that work of looking for the goods and trying to, okay, well, that's okay if it didn't work with that person. And so it doesn't really affect me anymore because I started working on that. But I feel like in the beginning, not in tarot, because I feel like ever since I started doing tarot, maybe in the beginning a little bit, but ever since I started doing tarot, I started gaining a bit more self-awareness. And so I pretty quickly started working on that. But with music, for example, it was always really, really hard to believe in myself and to be nice to myself.
Gosh, I mean, I haven't found a more intuitive 22-year-old person.
Yeah, I personally was so confused at 22. I'm like, why the hell am I doing engineering? Why did I get into engineering? That was not what I was supposed to do.
Music itself is therapy. It's giving a lot of peace to yourself and to the opposite person. Like, if you belong to any artistic field, like, whether it's cooking or gardening or, anything, it's a therapy. Again, it's science, because when you are frustrated, you get into that zone and you kind of de-stress yourself. So it's amazing. I mean, I'm loving. So there are, like, we have a lot many artists in the house. That's awesome.
Yes.
And I love having, like in my lives also, I'm like, so I have lot many artists in my room and creative people in my room. So like, I always like, go darling, go for it. Bring that upside of you. Like, you're blessed with it. So do the best. Make use of it.
And Margarita, on that note, towards the end, you'll have to sing the song for us. I don't know.
Yes.
Yes.
What?
Absolutely.
You will
If you could sing a song for us.
No.
Yes.
Thank you.
Yes.
No, thank you.
Come on.
Or you could just play something
we can
for
have
us.
a live concert here.
The
Yeah.
thing is, I haven't
RJ.
played the guitar for those more than 2 years, because ever since I got into college, I never really played any much. But ever since I started tarot, I haven't really played that much. So I kind of feel like I don't even know what
right?
a C is.
Okay, we can hear you sing.
You've already learned.
No, sing I can't. Sing I really can't sing. I really can't.
Come on.
No, I really can't sing. Really. I was the worst student in the choir, honestly.
Oh.
Maybe not the worst. I saw myself as the worst, but
That absolutely cannot be true. I do not believe that.
Okay.
Yeah, I cannot believe you on that.
Both of your cusps, right? Can we know a little bit about them?
Yes. Okay.
Absolutely. Please,
So
please.
Yeah. Manjari is all yours. She's like, bring it on.
Obviously, I'm a customer too. Come on. I need to know the answer to that.
so casps are like, we have zodiac signs, and everyone is aware about the 12 zodiac signs starting from Aries to Pisces. It's very, very familiar for a layman to understand. And in Asians, we kind of follow like Rashi. That is what in Asians we follow. So we have our moon cycles, we have our moon energies. So that's the reason tarot readers usually, when they go on the YouTube live or anything, we kind of put it as a disclaimer as a sun, moon, rising, and Venus. And then of late, lot many people add up like Jupiter rising. So there are not many upgraded versions that could be coming, but it's up to you. If you resonate, nothing like it. If it doesn't, then you can switch because now you are open to lot many tarot readings as well. Now, when it comes to zodiac cusp signs, so zodiac cusp signs are the ones who are born in the middle between two zodiac signs. So,
Right.
for example, if it is an Aries and a Taurus, there is a date in between because there's always a date between, like, suppose from the 1st to the 19th or the 20th. So, people born on those dates carries one zodiac sign. Post the 20th till the 19th of the next month is another zodiac sign. But what happens is the people who are born between the 19th to the 22nd. So, all these four numbers or three numbers, they have the traits of both the signs, the first one and the second one. And they get confused because they carry both the traits. So either it can be a fire sign and an earth sign, or an earth and water, air. That's how the zodiac signs are divided in four things, right?
Right.
So the people who are born in between, they carry both the traits.
Hmm.
So, like, when you have a fixed sign, we call it as a fixed sign, the zodiac, like, if you have a fixed sign, you will carry all the traits. So you know what the go-getter is. So even if you Google, you will get to know what the traits are, the personality and everything. But
Hmm.
when it comes to zodiac cusp, you carry both the traits. So when you have to be like a go-getter, you will be a go-getter, but at the same time, you have the second trait also hampering in you. So if you're very focused, there is another sensitive side also that might come up. Or there could be another practical side also. Like you're a go-getter, but then again, your practical part is stopping you. Like, I know when to do that, but then should I do that? Can I get into that detailing? What is happening? What is not? So, you carry both the traits. That's what the zodiac cusp signs are. So, a lot many readers, they get on the zodiac, but very few readers concentrate on the zodiac cusp sign. So, for me, zodiac cusp signs are like my babies because they really don't know where to go. Like, they are
Right.
like they get confused, which is natural. Like, so when you have a reading for them, they know that this is my cusp, this is what's going to happen. Otherwise, they have to switch to the one before and they want to have to switch later. And then they have to jot down. Okay, this is what may happen, this may not happen, but over here it is saying something else. So again, the confusion comes in because they're already confused.
Right.
So that is what the cusp is. Now, the dates also differ. Like, initially it was till, from the 20th to the 22nd, then it was from 19th to the 21st. Now, few are coming up from the 20th to the 23rd. So, whatever it is. If you
Hmm.
think you're a cusp, then that's it. So, this is what the zodiac cusp is all about.
Right.
Anything from your end, Margarita, you can
Yeah.
you can update as well.
Yeah. I mean, I agree with anything, with everything that you said, and it's basically that. I feel like the big thing that why some astrologers don't really, because there are some astrologers that don't do cusps. They don't think that they are real. They don't approve it. They don't think that that is a thing. And for me, like you were talking about the moon cycles, and when we have like a new moon, a full moon, there's that day where the moon is new, but the day before, the day after, you still feel a little bit that energy. And for me, cusps are about that. It's about feeling the energy. And it's not about from this day, it's one sign. Then all of a sudden, boom, we're in another sign, 100%. And there's a little time frame there where the energies are a bit mixed. And that's where cusps are born. And I feel like it's that thing. Sometimes it can get really confusing. And that's actually why I started doing cusp readings, is because I'm a Leo Virgo cusp. And I was looking at Leo and I was like, okay, this kind of resonates, but I'm not sure if it's for me. I was looking at Virgo and yeah, I'm not sure what is going on here. And I would get so confused. And so I tried looking for cusp videos. And I think at the time there was one reader. And I was like, what is happening here? No one's talking about cusps. What the hell? And that's why I started, because I feel like we need to start talking about it, because there are a lot of cusps.
Yes.
And those people need guidance as well. And sometimes it gets confusing. It gets a bit overwhelming, not really knowing, like, okay, what is the guidance for me? Because for one sign, it could be saying for you to go for it, and another sign could be saying, yeah, maybe it's not the
Right.
best thing. Which one should I do? And signs, even like with people, we would look at, me personally, I would look at Virgo's traits, and I was like, yeah, well, I resonate with this. And then I would look at Leo, and well, I resonate with this too. Then what is happening here? And the reason is that you have both. You can feel both energies, and it's important that you welcome both and that you know how to deal with both energies so you can find a balance between both.
Right. So as you're talking about
Okay,
the
so
stereotypes that are there inside the, just a second, I'm sorry. So like we're talking about the stereotypes that are there inside the whole the tarot card readers community, right? Like some of you they don't believe in cusps, and some of you do and everything.
Yes.
But outside, if we see, right, like the people who are very new to the profession itself, right, that they don't know that, okay, who are tarot card readers, and what are they, and what is this whole thing for them? How is it, like, how did it come to you for the first time when you told someone that you're going to be a tarot card reader, or you are a tarot card reader? Is it yet difficult for you to explain people about your profession? Is it difficult for you to tell them that you're going to do this, and it is for the whole time that you're going to do this, and this is going to be your earning source? Has it been difficult for you? Like, how has it been for you, the whole ride?
Margarida, you go first.
Yeah. So, like I said before, Portugal is a very Catholic country, a very, like, a little bit strict. And as I said, the idea that I have from India, it's that tarot and spirituality and astrology, it's much more accepted. So I was really, really nervous when I told the first people in my life that I was doing tarot. Especially, I had a whole history of 16 years of music, and they thought that I would be a musician. And all of a sudden, I'm changing course. And so it was the two things getting together. And I remember that the good thing is that I have a really good relationship with my family. So the first person that I told was my mother. And she was in complete shock. First of all, she had no idea, no one in my life had idea that I was doing tarot, that I was interested in this. And it was in shock, but it was with acceptance. Okay, if this is what you want, then you go do it. And that is the good thing, is that I have a very open mother, especially like with music. You have to have open parents and understanding parents to accept that path, because music is considered insecure.
Okay.
And that was already a good thing. But I do have people in my life that I told I was doing tarot. And first of all, they thought that I was just playing with cards. They're just, oh, you're just having fun.
Right.
Yeah, that's always the first thing.
Right,
It's, oh, you're just playing with cards. And I feel like for some people, it took some time for them to accept and to believe that I was doing this as my career. Because I feel like for a very long time, they thought that it was just a hobby. It was just a little thing that I was going through. And it wasn't something safe or secure. And even today, I feel like in the beginning I was really insecure about saying that I was a tarot reader because of the judgment and the lack of acceptance. But now that I'm kind of getting more into who I am and accepting who I am and what I do, I feel like even that way, me being authentic and being like, hey, this is what I do and I love it, there are still people that are like, that tarot, yeah, okay, good luck with that. But at this point, it doesn't bother me anymore, because okay, if you don't accept that, then
exactly.
okay.
You're missing out on something I'm not. Is that kind of a thing come up?
Yeah, because if someone doesn't accept you for who you are, for what you do, for the life you live, then that person is really not meant to be in your life, because people that are part of your soul tribe, of your soul family, they will always respect you. They will always be there for you and support you in no matter what you do. And so I am really lucky to have a really open family and very supporting family. But I know that not everyone has that. And some of my supposedly friends are not like that. They're not friends anymore. So yeah, but yeah, it always has both sides.
I mean,
Yeah.
everybody fights for themselves and their profession and the respect that they deserve and they should be getting, no matter what they're doing. Everybody has lost people in that journey of gaining respect, I feel. So yeah, that's a good deal.
Yeah, and I feel like that's actually very common, for example, Yeah, I feel like that's very common, for example, in music, especially here in Portugal. While I was studying, especially in college, there were students, there were friends of mine that their parents were like, okay, you do you, but I don't think that that is going to work. They didn't believe in their kids. They didn't believe in their siblings, whatever it was. And I feel like it's not just in tarot. I feel like it's anything that's out of society's thing of it's safe, it's stable.
True.
Anything that's out of that, you're doomed.
Right.
Not acceptable.
That's what.
Yeah.
That's what I meant when I,
That's
I
the
went through
perception
stereotyping.
everywhere, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I actually thought that, like music is only taken bad and not accepted in our society. But then when I heard from you, it felt like, okay, this is everywhere. This is only in our
Yeah.
area. I thought that, we are in trouble.
Because it's not, it's like you're not getting a fixed amount, right? This
Right.
is your
Exactly.
hobby. That is how it's considered. Like, it's your hobby. You're doing it. But when you work like a 9 to 5, because that's how our ancestors and our parents, that's how they've been working. So they know when you work, you get a fixed salary. That's exactly how your entire living goes with. But
Right.
when you have an additional thing of like a music or a dance or like an RJ or a gardening or opening up your own thing, like because you are blessed and you enjoy doing that, society doesn't accept. It's like, very good, we are very proud of you, darling, you're doing a very awesome job. There's money coming in the bottom line,
Hmm.
like so because you will get trained, it takes years for you to get trained. So at least when you're studying, that certificate, that percentage will at least take you somewhere,
Right.
depending, will at least get you like, some X amount of money coming in your house. But your passion, you have to struggle a lot. You have to make a name for yourself. And then people will recognize you. Then you will get. And that your generation has gone. So, Dali, that's a second hobby, but get into this. That's how. So they are right on their part. They are completely right on their part. But the holistic feel, okay, because music and dance, and because I've been a dancer, I've been an assistant choreographer, so I've loved dancing. Now also, I mean, I enjoy like lot many events I kind of end up with, so I love that. So when I told in my industry, in my dancing fraternity, saying I've become a tarot card reader, so they're like,
Exactly.
okay, so you should understand. I'm like, okay, so good, bad, ugly, nothing. And they're like, good, so you will stop dancing. And when like, see, there comes a point in your life where you want to, like, you enjoy that bit, but you have a calling, right, for something else. That's where the diversion comes in your life. So for me, this came the diversion, and I said, I've done like I've done everything from on stage to backstage, from the creative part. I've done everything. There's nothing more I could challenge myself to explore, and there was another calling I had, so I ventured into it. So my brother in my family, they kind of accepted me because my dad was into it. So we've seen, from growth. So when I told him like, I'm going to get it done professionally, and he was like, and I was like, is it a yes, no, you've accepted, what's the thing? And he was like, no, I am accepting because we've grown in that family. But understand there's a major, huge responsibility you're going to carry in that. Okay, because somebody's destiny is something that you would be telling. So that's a huge responsibility. Are you ready to face it? Because don't expect greenery coming up. Expect a major thing coming up with you. So you need to deal with that. Other professions is like, you have stress and all. But that emotional baggage is something if you're ready with it, then darling, go for it. And I was like, I am ready.
Aaradhana, I want to come to you. How exactly does the planetary position affect your life?
It affects, I won't say like 100%, but partially it does. Because in astrology, it's more focused on the planets. And everybody, when you are born, the planets are placed in different houses. But then, yes, we have our moon energies because the moon is also rotating around each planet. So moon energies are connected with our emotions as well. So whenever the planetary shifts are happening, the moon energies are also shifting. So that definitely affects us. But if you are aware as to what is happening, you can always control your emotions. It's all in your hands. It's like, when you're receptive, you will get it. But when you rebel, it will give you a very bad effect. So I always say, always be in a receptive mode. And when you're aware, that you are irritated, there are people that are irritated as well. So start calming down, because it's pointless you getting as such. So planetary definitely affects, but to some extent, not completely. It's up to you. If you if you think, yes, it's going to happen, then eventually it will happen. But if you think it will not happen, then it will not happen. But yes, whatever is meant to happen will happen. There's nothing like,
Rita?
if it's there in the destiny, if it's there in the positions, then it will happen. But partially, I would say. That
Okay. Margarida, I would like to come to you now. Do you have anything to add to that?
I 100% agree. And I was actually thinking about, like, for example, Mercury retrograde. That's one of the things that it's more talked about. And it's 100% that. We already know what can happen in Mercury retrograde. We're more, what is the word?
Suspectable.
Yeah, exactly. we're susceptible to that. And at the same time, we can control it. We can try to do things in a more calm way. We can try to figure out, okay, let's do this in this way, and try to keep our emotions in check. And that way we can sort of not avoid, but deal with the energies of Mercury retrograde a little bit better. And of course, that is the most known. That's the one that's more talked about, especially because it happens 3 times a year, and it's pretty intense. But it's the same thing with all the planets and with everything that happens. So I 100% agree with Aaradhana. Yeah.
Thank you.
I mean, there's this one thing that I've always felt that people for an artistic kind of a career that people have in arts, they have a different kind of a world around them. Okay, they think about things more deeply and stuff like that, because their whole writing and their whole thing depends on it. Not only writing, but whatever they're doing. Like a painter would look at a world in that way that they can paint properly. A person in a corporate will look at a world in a different way, right? What is a tarot card reader's perception of the world, of the universe per se? Because then you people use it that way. The word for you is universe. So how do you perceive it? Is my question for you.
Do you want to go first?
Yeah.
I think, honestly, our perception of at least I'm speaking from personal experience. I feel like our perception of the world and the situations that happen changes a lot. Because when we are tarot readers, I feel like we automatically are a bit more open. We are more connected with the universe, with our guides, with everything. So I feel like we have bigger and a better perception of, okay, wait, there's a reason for this. And so I even feel like with any sort of bad situation, I feel like it, of course, in the moment it can feel bad and we may freak out a little bit because we're humans. But I feel like in the end, we're like, okay, wait, let's take a step back and let's figure out what is happening here and why is it happening. And so I feel like, that's a little bit of an advantage of being a tarot reader, is that I feel like your perception is, it improves. And I feel like it brings you a little bit more peace. And I feel like you're more open to anything that happens. And even just watching tarot, I feel like if you watch tarot, I feel like you automatically are more receptive. I mean, it depends if you're watching it with the intention of hearing what you want to hear, or if you want to hear the truth and you want to truly be guided. But if you are in that second position and that second intention, I feel like you automatically, as well as the tarot watcher, your perception changes a little bit too. So
yeah.
Right.
Totally agree. Yeah, I mean, it's like what you see is what you believe, right? So, as she said, as tarot readers, we are exposed to a lot many things, and we get to know. And especially if you become a clairvoyant, like a person who can actually see those visions. That's where lot many tarot readers will actually give you a proper insight as to what's going to happen, how it may happen, so on and so forth. Obviously, that goes with your practice, that goes with your intuition, that goes with your gut feeling, if you call it, or how much meditations you do. That's a different backlog you carry with. But it's all about accepting, is what I personally believe. So, but then I always say we as tarot readers are humans as well. We aren't the universe. We aren't the god. We aren't the goddesses or anything as such. We are just humans. And when we are giving you a reading, we are just trying to be a medium, explaining you what is happening. But at the end of the day, even we are humans. Humans make mistakes. 99% tarot readers don't make mistakes because that's how they study, that's how their willpower, that's how their intuitions are playing an important role. But if that 1% just doesn't work, that's that 1% people will catch. You said it, it didn't happen. That's where the comment comes up. That's where the calls come up. And sometimes if you're not ready to accept, that's where again the comment comes up. Like, it didn't work. You said this, that, but you're not ready. So whenever universe opens up, we are receptive, we get to know. But then I always say, let's go with the flow. It's as simple as that. Be receptive and go with the flow. So that truly helps. That truly helps in the long run.
And then because you people are so much aware about the whole vibrations things, and people call it vibes now these days. So yeah, like in that kind of terms. Now that you're very aware of all these things, how, what are the tips that you would give to people that they can attract good things towards them? Like, what is that one thing, or what are those tips and tricks that can work for people to make their vibes really right? If they want something and to get something, how can they actually set their vibes right? How can they play with it so well that then they're assured that whatever they want can happen to them, or at least they can create possibilities of what they want to happen, like what they want can happen to them,
So when if I have to say it, I would say first learn to accept yourself. You need to accept yourself. That's the thumb rule I always say. If you don't accept the self, universe always bring the people that the kind of people are like you, because that's the kind of people you kind of are calling. So if you accept yourself and you love yourself, everything you'll find good. If it's like, if I'm angry, I'll be calling the angry souls around me because I am angry. But I'm a human, yeah. I mean, my mood swings go. I can't blame the planetary effects. I can't blame the moon energy. I can't blame the situation. Even though they are playing their part, I can't blame people around because everybody is carrying their own energies. But what can I do? Is I can change myself. So the minute I accept myself, the minute I love myself, that's exactly everything will start falling. And over a period of time, not because through whatever I've been learning, but I've experienced as well, that you need to start forgiving. That's again a thumb rule I say. Learn to forgive yourself because we have so much of anger towards ourselves. Like, that I wish I could have done that. I wish I could have given it back to him or her. I wish I could have said a no at that situation. I wish I could say, listen, just get lost. Or you could just, when you're in such a fit of anger, you want to actually abuse that person. Or even when your elders are there, they're pushing you and you're like, hello, don't try to teach me. But because out of respect, you can't and you're suppressing yourself. So you have that anger. And then that anger is something, you'll break something, or you'll rebel through your studies, or you'll rebel on your work front, or you may just end up getting on a fight, or you might just tell your friend and you may just start taking that bit of anger on them because you have that anger within you. So first of all, accept yourself, love yourself, forgive yourself. The minute you pamper yourself is exactly where you will start attracting lot many good things. See, part and parcel of destiny is going to come your way. You need to evolve. Okay, and every time you can't jot down the patterns like, oh, I had a heartbreak, that person came, that person ghosted me, and that went. Again, a new person came, that person was more interested in the physical intimacy. Again, that person ghosted, again, that went. But did you find the pattern? Why did you allow that energy? Because you didn't love yourself. That person also didn't love himself or herself. That's the reason that pattern just followed. So the minute you love yourself, even if such a pattern repeats and the person goes away, you're like, okay, I'm happy in my zone. If not you, there'll be somebody else, like, or probably the person that you might encounter with. That person will love you even more because
Right.
that vibration has up, and even the opposite person's vibration has come up. So if you want to attract all good things in your life, be it on money, be it on love, be it on spirituality, be it on any level, first of all, be receptive. You have to be receptive because universe is filled with lots and lots of opportunities, beautiful opportunities. Like wherever there is darkness, there's always light. Whenever the door closes, the second door will eventually open. So you will have to go ahead. So it's like, you lose a friend, you will meet another friend. You lose out in a relationship, a new relationship is coming. Your parents, your family, they're going to be there as long as they're there with you. But otherwise, there are these new journeys you're going to have, right? But for that, everything is a new thing, right? So if you are strong mentally and emotionally, nothing will rock you. So forgive, in my case, what I usually, because I've experienced these things as well. That's the reason I say you need to love yourself, you need to accept yourself, you need to forgive yourself. The minute you do all these things, everything will fall into place and be receptive. It's like, we are running after something. I want this, I want this. And if it is not meant to come to you, then why are you running? So be receptive. It's not coming to me, so be it. Something good is there. And universe is always showering you, always giving you. Universe, it's like, lot many people say, like, because I think even Margarita must have experienced, like, lot many clients come up and say, I've never been happy. There is no money coming. There is no job. There is no love. Why are you cribbing, darling? Everything is around you. But you need to work on yourself. So universe is like, Babu, release all that baggage. You be happy. Then only I'll give you happiness. But if you're filled in that, universe will give you that only because you enjoy being in that thing. So first work on yourself and then see and change the pattern. I always say you can break the pattern and you always have a choice. Like, lot many people love to cry. This happened with me only. Always with me only. This happened with me. And you're trying to push that person, darling, forget, release, No, but it happened with me. So you've chosen that. So you know what it is. So choose something good, See the other side of the coin. Be happy. When you're happy, you will have all the good things. Even if there is a bad thing coming, still you will attract good thing in that person. Because you are happy. So you will never see the bad side of that person. And even if you see, you're like, forget it, yaar. Why you want to get into it? It's okay.
That's so true.
You will boost up that opposite person. So eventually that person also becomes happy. So it's always an energy exchange that is happening. So you need to work on yourself, I personally believe. And whatever is meant to happen will come to you. If that person is not meant to be in your face, that person will eventually, universe will divert that energy. So you don't have to work on that as well. So be receptive and go with the flow. So
Right.
this is what I personally believe with.
That's actually a nice thing. I mean, see, whatever you said, right, was like, I can say that everything that you said has so much relation with faith in a
Yeah.
way that everything, I mean, you have to have faith in yourself, you have to have faith in the universe that's going to go good for you, and then eventually things happen. But the first thing that has to happen is faith. And I think that is the basis of how you heal on a lot of psychological issues
Yes.
too. Like, because as like from where I see, I've told already, I mean, I've talked to Manjri about this already, about faith and everything.
A lot of
So
times.
I've always said that, like depression and anxiety and things like these, when you have, there's always a very, very deep lack of faith because of which it happens. And
And what
because
is
you lack faith in
depression?
yourself, yeah,
Yeah, it's all thoughts. Like these are all thoughts, and we create those thoughts. Either it's the outside force that forces us to think, or we only start thinking, "Oh,
exactly.
this happened, that happened. Now this will happen, then that will happen." So our
Right.
mind is only jotting, connecting those dots, and that's more than enough
That's
for us to get done.
right. When I say to people that you need to believe in the good and everything, they're like, they listen to me and they're like, okay, fine, these are all the read things. Okay, that
Yeah.
we have read. It's all established on the internet also right now, and we know it. But when it comes from a person like you who has been into the whole vibration, like you've been reading vibes, and your profession depends on it a lot.
True.
When you say these things, they're more authenticated, I feel, and that's why it has to come from you. I mean, people need to hear it from you yourself so that they actually start believing in it, maybe.
But there
That's
are
why I asked
times,
you that.
no, but there are times people who are very practical. Like I believe Margarida will also agree on that, that we kind of encounter a lot many practical people with us. Like
Yeah,
there are emotional people, but there are very headstrong people who kind of, they want to challenge. Are you sure? On what grounds are you predicting it? What made you say that? So
right.
they are trying to test you also because they're not ready to accept. So
That
they
is
always
true.
want to prove a point. They always are in a position to prove their point. And they want, and the emotional people are like, please listen to me. Nobody listens to me. At least you listen to me. Okay. So because there are so many stuck emotions.
Hmm.
So they are looking for that help. That is the whole point. It's so what is basically for me, what I feel tarot reading is like a guiding. It's like a guiding tool. At the end of the day, they will tell you what needs to be done, what not needs to be done, because they're telling you, they're guiding you. So it's up to you whether you need to follow the guidance or you
Hmm.
want to go your way. Because
Right.
none of the tarot readers will force Baba that you have to take the left, there you take the right. They will never do that. They will
Yeah.
always tell you, go the left or you go the right. Because it is
Hmm.
your life, you're stuck in that
Mhm.
thing. So that's the reason I want to make this very clear in this podcast that lot many, like a layman, not many people think that tarot reading is all about fun, or how can you predict somebody's destiny and all. But there is definitely science behind it. If you Google it, because of late, lot many people are more into Google. You type in the Google, there are lot many options you get. You can surf lot many ways and all. That's perfectly fine. But also understand there's a lot of energy exchange that is going in that. And nobody will
Right.
give you a wrong guidance. What fun will it give me in giving you a prediction that you're going to die tomorrow? What, I mean,
Exactly.
why would I won't be happy, like, but if you're going to die tomorrow, but at least I can guide you, there is a possibility of death. But how can you survive that death? How can, if it is meant to be your destiny, then nothing like it. But start praying, start doing some good things, whatever that guidance comes up that way. So, a lot many people think that, tarot reading is not. I mean, it's a waste of time, waste of money. There are a lot many perceptions also these guys come up with,
Right.
because they get conditioned as well or they see, or probably it doesn't work in their case. That tarot
Hmm.
reader said something, this tarot reader something, now you're telling me. But every tarot reader has their way of studying your case. How you go to a doctor, one doctor will say something, but the next doctor, for them, you're the new patient. So that's how they're going to treat you. So this is how it goes. But then for me, what I believe is you need to, coming to the bottom line, learn to accept and be receptive. And if you do, everything will start falling into places. But if you're not ready for it, then darlings, be happy with your journey because universe will always put you in the same position because you have not learned your lesson. So when you
Hmm.
learn your lesson is where universe will take you further. And that's what tarot readers usually do. The holistic healers, they're kind of guiding you. Like these are the speed breakers in your life, work on them. Only then you'll go ahead. That kind of.
No, but that is actually like this is a very important lesson for the youth today and for everybody
Yes.
right now
Yes.
in this lockdown, especially like that we've been through. That you need to have faith and you need to keep focusing on yourself and improving your mental condition so that you don't fall for this all the time, and that you don't fall into deep sadness or
Yeah.
depression, whatever. You don't fall for anything that is gloomy, basically.
True. True.
So that's why I wanted to hear it from you, and it actually makes me feel nice now. I don't know about the rest of the people. I can only talk for myself, and it actually makes me feel good and better about it. So yeah, Margarita, we come to you about it.
Yeah,
What do you have to say?
I would actually like to reinforce that thing that you were saying of tarot reading being for guidance. I actually, the way there are some tarot readers that just do predictions and that's where they focus, and that's totally fine. The way I see it is, what I'm telling you is, you're doing this, this is on your path, this is what the most likely outcome is. But you can go around it. You can do it in another path. You can do it a bit better. You can focus more on yourself and get a better outcome. So for me, what we say as tarot readers, it's not like a true thing of like, this is going to happen and you can't avoid it. There are some things that you can, but you can do it in a different way. You can experience it in a different way. A bad situation, like Aaradhana said, an accident. Instead of going on a motorcycle accident, you can burn your finger. It's a different type of accident and you've changed some action there. There's basically a cause and consequence kind of thing to this. And that's what tarot shows you. It's right now, this is what's happening. You want this to happen, this is what's most likely to happen. You want, keep doing what you're doing. You don't want it, then this is what you can do to change it a little bit or to get it a bit better. And I feel like it's really important that people understand that, because I feel like a lot of people see tarot as, this is the truth and this is the only thing that is going to happen. And I feel like it's important that people get a different perspective and perception of tarot. And when it comes to attraction, I agree 100%. It all comes from you. It all comes from your mindset. And that's why I focus so much on self-care and self-love. When you're in this place of love, of acceptance, of believing in yourself, that I feel like it's the number one thing, because you may want $1 million, but if you don't feel like you're worthy of $1 million, you will never get $1 million because you're not in that vibration. And so believing in yourself, I feel like it's the number one thing. And then it's that thing of being happy. I feel like happiness is the best thing that attracts better things. So if you can every single day have like a morning routine that just empowers you to go and thrive that day, if you can do something that really lights you up, and that I feel like it's why it's so important that your career is something that fulfills you. It's something that brings you passion, and not worry about money. If you're doing out of love, if you're doing it because you are happy doing it, money will follow. And that is, I feel like it's a mindset that you need to have. It's the mindset that you need to get to attract abundance, and even with love. If you feel like you deserve the hottest man alive, then you're gonna get the hottest man alive for you. If you don't feel that you deserve that, you most likely won't have it, or you can't even have it, but you won't accept it because you don't think that it's for you. So everything comes from you.
We're talking about a lot of self-love, and you're talking about focusing on the self and everything. For people these days, there are people who actually focus on others more, not in a bad way, but in a good way too. That they want the others around them to grow, and especially for ladies, I'm talking about, and for girls, and for people who are married and everybody. These days, it's like they are always involved with their family, right? We are people who are always like, at least for girls, I'm not talking that guys are not, but your girls are more like that they're more involved with the family. They have to take care of the children also in the later stages and everything. So focusing on self comes with a lot of guilt, right? It happens so that we want to pamper ourselves, but then we see our kid in trouble, or that we see someone in our house in trouble, or that we start to believe in the fact that nobody can do without us. Because the whole house starts kind of depending on us in a way. So how do you deal with that to like self-love? For you to love yourself, you'll have to deal with that guilt, right? First.
So that's what.
How do you think can people deal with that guilt in a better way?
So that's where I say accept yourself. That's the first thing. Okay, because half the time, I'm not sure about how it goes in the West, but in India or in Asia, especially in Indians, because it's I wouldn't say, but it's a tradition. Like the wife has to cook for the kids, she has to look after the house cleaning, she has to look about everything, the nurturing bit, and the male has to go out and work and get money. That's how the tradition is followed, irrespective of how the feminine energy is working outside, like a 9 to 5. At the end of the day, still she has to do something for the family and then do. So I have seen this with my mom as well, and I've seen with most, like, even we have our friend circles, even we fall, like, even I fall into that category. Like, in spite of being a tarot reader, I'm a girl where I have to do my household thing, I have to do my bit of responsibility, I have to get into my readings, I have to complete that, and again, I have my household thing to get back and be prepared for the next day as well. But in this entire process, what I've learned is that guilt definitely comes in. Like, oh, shocks, I didn't cook that vegetable. Or I didn't do this, I didn't do that. Or I did this, but I wanted to go out for a movie, but then there came a responsibility where I had to do a babysitting. Or I had to, like, some unexpected guests came in and all. So my point of view at such point is, where is your me time? What are you doing for yourself? You're working like a machine from morning once you wake up, because that's how the clock starts. Till 10 a.m., I have to get my kids ready, I have to make my husband ready, my in-laws, and so on. Then I have to do something else. Then again, evening, back to the same thing. So it's a never-ending thing. So that's where the guilt comes. And then over a period of time, that guilt, that suppression thing, because you're suppressing yourself. Na? Okay, these are my responsibilities, I have to do. You're still a child, darling. I have to take your studies, even if I put in the tuitions and their fees and the bills, then the sickness, then your functions, they kind of get you entangled in it. Where is your me time? What are you doing for yourself? So they are like, I don't have time for myself. There is time. You need to bring that time. And don't be guilty about it. See, kids go and play. Your husbands go out and they chill, or they take on the call, or they watch the news. That's their me time. Your parents, they listen, your grandparents, they could be listening to some mantras or worshiping or going to the park and all. So they have their me time. Where is your me time? By the end of the day, you're super exhausted and you're like, I want to sleep. Sometimes your sleep cycle also goes for a toss, because the next day you're planning what is the breakfast and everything. So that guilt is killing you. But why do you want to carry that guilt? Is my question. You yourself are programming for that thing. Don't do that. That 5 minutes you can bring for yourself. No? So if you're having, like I always say, if you're having a coffee, just concentrate on that 5 minute, how good that coffee is, or how it makes you feel good. When you're going to a salon to pamper yourself, like when you're going for a nice haircut or a massage, or just like pedicure or something, sometimes they play those music, like in most of the parlors, because that music therapy works, be it fast songs or be it some sad songs or whatever. But there are some songs that are playing. Somebody is giving a nice massage, you feel so good, you're like, can you do a facial for me? Can you do a little bit of coloring? So you're just adding, because you feel that's your me time. That's where you feel good. So do it every day. You can do it every day, right? Once you're done with everything, take that 5 minutes. You won't have that guiltiness. And what are you guilty for? You're doing your responsibilities. It's not that you're running away. You're giving your 100, 200% for it. Then why should you be guilty about it? You shouldn't. At the most, wake up early, finish your stuff, and take that 5 minutes. Are we asking more than 5 minutes? You can give 5 minutes for yourself. Whenever that 5 minutes is. Some people enjoy sipping a tea and reading the newspaper, irrespective of whatever political news or astrology, they try to find out how the day will go. That is the first thing. Most of them, they tend to listen. Or on news channel, you have these predictions coming up. So you wake up in the morning and you're like, how my day is going to be. And you're cooking.
Right.
But then again, you're thinking again. So my point is, don't carry that guilt. And that is what self-love is about. What you need to do it for yourself. So when you come at the age of 60, 70, again your old age, that's where you will be cribbing, oh, I missed doing this. I wish I could have done that. Why do you want to go to that age? Enjoy that present. And what are we asking? Yeah, just 5 minutes. You can't give yourself a 5 minute. You can do that. So accept and do something for yourself. Don't live in that guilty trip, because that guilty trip is not going to take you anywhere, darling. It's going to affect your health. And once you fall sick, then the entire house comes up. How can you fall sick? What did you eat?
that is not allowed only.
Go to the doctor, get that injection. One day is okay. Now, even if you're suffering with cold, pop up that crocin or paracetamol, you'll be fine, but please make my breakfast.
Huh.
And you'll be like, can't you understand I'm weak? But they're like, it's not their fault. It is actually your fault. Because you conditioned them that way. That in spite of me being weak, I will follow my responsibilities. So that guilt trip is not because of them, it is because of you. You did it. So you work on yourself and everything will fall into place. So bring that me time is what I always say.
Right. So right. Margarita, any opinion from your side?
100%. And I feel like as you work on yourself, as you give yourself those 5 minutes, as you put yourself into this place that you feel fulfilled by just being alone, by being in your energy, by loving yourself, you end up overflowing with love. And that is the overflowing you can give to others. And I feel like that's how you may start losing a bit of guilt, because I personally been there, and I feel like a lot of people have to. And especially with my parents, I came to this point where I really needed to be alone, but at the same time I was like guilty because I'm not spending that much time with them.
Exactly.
And I started thinking, but if I spend time with myself, if I make myself feel good first, then I can give more to them. And because if you're constantly giving and giving and giving and giving, you end up to this place where you don't have anything left. And even the
True.
actions that you do to help and to give love to others, they won't even be that powerful because you lack energy. You don't have anything
True.
else to give. And so the
True.
much you give to yourself, the much more you give to yourself, the much more you can give to others. And then there's another thing, especially for people pleasing to the extreme level that just want to please others, you most likely are giving to people that don't deserve that. And
True.
as you give love to yourself, you start figuring out, okay, I'm giving to that person, but that person doesn't deserve my love.
Yeah.
That person doesn't deserve what I'm giving. And so that guilt also goes away a little bit, because I feel like you need to be good with yourself first. You need to love yourself first, so then you can love another person.
That is so true. That is actually true.
Yeah.
And that's why people need to understand the fact that they need to get over the guilt so that they can actually love
Yeah.
better. What we think is, from where we come, is that if we are not loving ourselves, it's not a big deal, but we should be able to spread love. You cannot spread love that way. And people don't understand that is not how you do it. You can't let yourself be consumed and then you
Yeah.
can spread love. That is not how it is. And yeah, that's why it is actually necessary for all of us. I mean, everybody who is not giving much time for themselves and they're not believing in self-love, I think this is why this is
Yeah.
important.
So
That it actually builds
it's true. You need to
relationships
have a
stronger.
relationship with yourself also. Like we have relationships with the entire world, but we have a relationship with ourselves. Like, I have experienced this. Like you can try, like, whenever you are low, you end up and you have a meeting or you have to attend, you wear a bright color. You feel so good in spite of you being low, because color also carries energies. They make you feel so good. And if you wear your favorite color, that adds up to it because your emotions are connected to that color. If you love white and you have a lot of white colors, apart from what the white color is actually projecting, but still you want to wear that because that will just enhance your mood. So that's where you should know what makes you feel good. Pamper yourself, yeah, love yourself. I mean, there are lot many energies who will love you, but what happens is we are expecting a lot from the opposite person. We are looking for acceptance from the opposite person. Be it our parents, our lovers, our colleagues, it could be anybody. But we aren't accepting ourselves. Why? I mean, that's wrong. That's unfair, right?
Yeah.
So you accept yourself and see, eventually people will also start accepting you. And the ones who are good will love you all the more. And the ones who are jealous or who are actually, you feel they're like a pain for me or who are sucking my energy, universe will eventually take them away because they don't deserve to be in your space. So for that, you need to love yourself. That's it. Be happy.
Okay.
You deserve to be loved, yeah. So
That is
yeah.
Okay. So
Sorry.
recently I came across the concept of switch words and the whole law of attraction and manifestation thing. Like you said, like we attract what we give out. So how does manifestation
True.
and the concept of switch word fit into this whole, you know, law of attraction kind of thing? Margarida, I would like to start with you.
I feel like it changes the energy you put out and your thoughts. For
Okay.
me, more than switching words, that it's also part of it. But one thing that I focus a lot is on gratitude. So just like you're switching from a bad word to a good word, or from a not so good word to a better word, you're choosing to not look at the bad things with gratitude. You're choosing to look at the good things. So one of the things that, especially in my tarot readings, I suggest most often is gratitude journaling, because you could have the worst day ever, and if at the end of the night you can write 3 things, it could be, I love my pajamas. I'm really grateful for my pajamas. I'm really grateful for having water. I'm really grateful for having a bed. You're switching. You're not
True.
focusing on the bad day. You're focusing on the good day. And that in hand is going to attract more good things, because your energy is focusing on the good. Your energy is leveling up. And that is where you need to focus. And what you say is just like, what do you tell yourself? If you're telling yourself bad words, if you're not being kind to yourself, you're going to attract probably people that are going to talk to you like that. So switching the words that you tell yourself is going to attract people that are going to talk to you that way, that are going to talk to you and treat you like you deserve to be treated. So a lot of it comes from the mind. A lot of it comes from your mindset and from how you act and from how you do your day, from the actions and how you react.
Exactly. Aradhana, switching to you.
So true. What I would add is how your mind perception goes with everything. Sometimes I believe it's the conditioning also that adds up. So, like, it's somebody else's story, but you kind of relate it to you. When it is not happening with you, but it happened with my best friend, or it happened with my dad, or it happened with my mom. So you just relate in their shoes. And something similar comes to you, then you're like, see, the mind is like, I told you, this is what happened there. But you are not in that position, like, because our conscious is always telling us that, darling, this is not your story. This is not your reason to take birth in this life. This is what you need to follow. But your mind is like, but remember, daddy did this. That's how it happened. And that is what uncle said. Something similar is happening to you. So your brother is also doing this. Now his friend is. So the roles have been switched, but the pattern is the same. So your mind is playing that kind of a game, a monkey game. And your soul is screaming, no, this is completely wrong. So that's where your switch words help you. Saying like, this is not my story. This is my story. I am happy. I am good. I am positive. So words carry lot many vibrations. So that's where the switch words help you. But it's up to you. Even if you don't have to follow the switch words, if you live in the present and you put affirmative sentence, you can build your sentences. You are educated people, you're intelligent, your daily conversation, like, I am happy. I want to be happy. I am proud of myself. I deserve love. Put any affirmation in the present tense that you are looking forward for. That's where the switch word comes in. So somebody giving you the guidance, do this, say these 108 times, you'll be like saying those 108 times. But do you really mean those words? You're just using it. You're just reading it. So that vibrations are creating because you're saying it. But you're not putting an intention that you really want that. So you just say once, whatever positive affirmation you want, and focus on that and see. You don't have to actually relate to the switch words. You can actually make those switch words for yourself. So there's nothing against the ones who are helping people with the switch word, because it's again an energy exchange that is going, because even they are helping you since you don't have a clarity. But everything, it's like I always say, as tarot readers, we always say, if you have a question, you have an answer to you. It's just that you don't know what that answer is. And there are these other mediums who are trying to help you find your answer. So switch words also help you in getting your answers. Like, I am happy. I need love. I deserve to be loved. I'm in my power. I'm a money magnet, because everybody wants money. And only a magnet attracts money, right? So That's how it works. So it's a give and take, but then again, as Margarita said, you need to accept what it is within you and then go.
Okay.
Right.
Tanushree, your question.
Thank you. And yeah. So I think you've taken 2 hours from them. Yeah. And the conversation went
we
so
knew
good.
it. I think it's gonna be an
Let's talk
interesting
movie.
conversation.
Yeah, we knew it already, but then yeah, life doesn't give that chance all the time that
Exactly.
you're
Yes.
interested in getting this. And what happens? But it happened this time, so I'm really happy
Yeah.
about that. But yeah, the question that I wanted to ask you is that what are the tips, or what is the path that you would tell that is for the budding tarot readers, people who want to
For
get into
someone who
this
wants to get in the profession.
for someone who wants to get in the profession, what path would you suggest to them? I mean, everything, with the courses, with the with whatever it is, with the education thing, and also with the self-development. I'm trying to ask both of them to you.
Okay. Margarita?
Yeah. Honestly, what I would say would be just do it. If you want to start it, if you're feeling called to do it, then just do it. Because there's no point in resisting. If you're feeling that calling, if you're feeling that urge to start tarot and to turn that into your career, then there's no point in resisting, because you're just delaying stuff. You're just creating more time for you to not have abundance. If that truly is part of your path, you're just creating delays. And from that point forward, I feel like it's always important to remember that if you want to help someone, then maybe you have to figure out, okay, I've been through this situation, so what did I do there? So it's important that you heal yourself, that you focus on yourself, that you have that understanding of yourself. But then just take one step at a time. You find a really good course, you're excited about it, risk and go take it, connect with other people. You find new opportunities like this one, take it, connect with other tarot readers, with amazing people that give you awesome opportunities. Just risk, just do it. That's my biggest advice. Just do it.
Right. But my question is more like towards how do you do it? Like how do you get into this profession? Fine, you have a calling and you know that you want to do it, but then what is the path for it?
In what I would add up, whatever she said is completely correct, because when you have a calling is when you want to do it. And not many people are more curious to find out, like, how you're going to do it. So when you study that, whichever, because it's all about vibes. So if you feel connected with that person, you will learn from that person. But if you have a disconnect, no matter how good the teacher is, you will not be connected with it. So you need to find out, study that person. If you think that, because of late social media is a very good platform where you can get to know, you can study that person. There are testimonies that come up with, or if that person goes live, or how if it resonates with you or no. So there are a lot many options you can find out. If you think you can have a discussion, have a discussion. See how well you feel connected with that person. So when you're learning tarot reading, you need to be a little receptive, because lot many people are more into logical thinking. Tarot reading is definitely about science, but there is lot more about intuition level as well. So what I say is it's 20% of the book reading, because everything is there in the book. Like, you buy a tarot read or from Amazon or any bookstore. Everything is written. Every card has been explained with everything. But the way the teacher also explains and your intuitions play a very important role at that point. So that also matters. So this is a beautiful world. It's an amazing calling. If you have, learn it. But be ready at the same time. And you have a lot many people to help you as well. So you need to be receptive at the same time. But yes, please learn. Please learn. It's an amazing world, because it opens up so much about the opposite person, but it opens up for you as well. And even you grow, like, as a human being, even you grow, and even you're like, oh shucks, I never knew this thing can happen with me also. So, and tarot cards also read, they talk to you. the way we talk to
Yeah,
each other.
that's what I've heard. People actually like connect with their deck. They keep it in, like, they keep it below
Yes,
their pillow and they sleep so that they can actually build up a relationship with them or something like
yes,
that.
they do.
I've heard
Yeah,
about
they
this.
do. They do. Because
Yeah.
see, it's like, because it's a part of your family. So when you don't
Hmm.
talk to your father, to your mother for some reason, they'll be like, why you're not talking? What happened? Why you're not talking with me? What's wrong with you? So that's exactly because when you get a tarot deck, it's a part of your life journey. So you need to be friendly with it. Now, because tarot can't talk like the way we are using words and we are talking, they talk through energies. So you need to connect with them. What are they trying to say? Like in one of the Facebook groups, I had because I love collecting different tarot decks. So I got lot many tarot decks. Like, when you see on YouTube also, like, lot many people come up with these beautiful decks and all, and you feel, I wish I want to have that. Like, you order and you have it, and then obviously you need to study that deck as well because every tarot deck carries their own energies. So I got these beautiful decks and all. Some are so powerful that you can actually sense them. They're extremely energetic. And some you're like, okay, there, it's there. So in one of the Facebook groups, I kind of saw like, I've got so many tarot decks, and few of my decks are not answering me. They're not giving me the answers. So I told my friend, I said, this is something happening with me also. Like, I have my regular decks that I keep using, but because I love to, have a new stock of tarot decks, I've been getting them also. And my old tarot deck is not answering. I don't know why. There's a disconnect that's coming in. So on the Facebook group, it had said, like, how a sibling comes in.
Exactly.
Like,
Exactly.
that's how that energy, because they are all energies. So talk to your tarot decks. Question them. The way you find answers, ask them. They will tell you. So that's where your intuition will tell you why the tarot deck is not answering you, why they're not helping you. So that's where you need to build that connect. Saying, oh, so this is the reason, like, sometimes tarot, there are different tarot decks who are very friendly, like, they could be friendly on your career, they could be friendly on love reads, or they might not be in that position to answer you today on your spiritual side, but they might give you an answer on another side. So you need to be receptive, you need to talk to them, you need to build that thing. So you need to pamper those tarot decks as well. But for that, you
Right.
need to love yourself. You need to pamper yourself. Only then you will give that love to that tarot deck as well. So it's an
Yeah.
amazing industry. It's a beautiful field to all the budding tarot readers who wish to know. Definitely, science is there, but whichever teacher you feel you are connected to, please learn from that teacher. Maybe you have a calling from, that this is the right teacher who can give you the correct guidance, because every teacher has a different way of teaching. Probably the way Margarita may teach is a complete different way. Mine would be different. There is another different way. So the way you feel connected to, go for it. But be receptive and you should be ready for it. It's not like, for fun, I want to learn, or because, I don't want to help anyone, but I want to help myself. But again, to help yourself also, you should also be receptive. You should also be okay with it.
Hmm.
That's it. But it's a beautiful feeling. You should learn. I mean, given a choice.
True.
Yeah. I
So,
would
like, are there some institutions set up, or is there, like, how do you people learn? Like, where do you go to learn
So
about that?
in my case, I had like, we have the Just Dial. So I kind of
Hmm.
searched over there. There are a lot many people who kind of teach. There were a lot many institutions as well. So that's where I called up and I spoke to them. And I work on energies. I work on vibe. So where I got that instant connect is when I learned. But then it's up to you. Like, on Google also, when you put on the search engine, you will find lot many institutions who kind of put it up as well. So you can learn from there. Of late, I've started teaching tarot. I just taught my teacher. So my pranic teacher, she wanted to learn because she used to say, like, how do you do it? Because even she believes in science. So I was like, I do teach. And she was like, okay, teach me. I was like, oh, I have to teach another teacher. So that was a task for me. But then I came up very good. Like, she kind of said, like, you're a very good teacher. So, why don't you start teaching? So I was like, okay, why not? Like, so I do teach tarot. But there are other different institutions as well, like, who properly teach. There are colleges as well who properly teach. So I always say, Google it, find out, and then go, because there's an investment that you're making. So whatever it is, think, discuss, get convinced, and then go for it. Just don't go blindly.
Any recommendation that you would make?
See, that's what I said. It's all about preferences. Like, suppose if for me, if Manjari is a very good tarot reader, I might recommend Manjari. But if you might feel I'm happy with the way Margarida does, then I think I would connect with Margarida, even if Manjari has an institution. So it's all about you. Whom do you wish to choose? Because that's a comfort zone, and that's where you will be receptive in learning. So even if, like, if I'm teaching and you'll be like, oh God, why is she like a pain? Yeah, I mean, it's so practical. I mean, she's so boring. Even though she's an ace, but that's her personality. And Margarita is more loving, more kind, fun loving. That's the kind of energy you want to learn with, where you can have a one-to-one connect. So probably you would choose Margarita. So that's the reason I say the person you wish to get connected is first see if you are getting connected as a person. See the vibe you catch. Google it. Look out in the search engine, because you have social media platforms. There are calls. Connect on the call. You will understand through the call also that person is really good, or it's very professional, or you want, because everybody carries a different personalities, and you know what kind of personality you would be comfortable in learning. So lot many modalities are there, lot many platforms are there. You need to do a little research for yourself. Some people feel it much easier, relatable. You don't have to invest. You need to download the video, buy a tarot deck. You have that book, and that reader is explaining it. Some find it that way easy, but it's up to you how you want it.
Very true. Margarita, anything that you want to say?
I would even add, and still talking a little bit about what we were talking before, I feel like one of the biggest things also, you need to trust yourself, because you need to trust that gut feeling. That gut feeling is intuition. And as you start trusting it more, you start developing, you start growing it. And that is the most important thing. I would even say, you learn the tarot meanings of the cards and everything. But in the end, you can do a whole reading without picking one single card. And it all comes from that intuition. It all comes from that connection that you created with the other person. So you can learn the tarot, you can learn it all, but it's important that you have that trust in yourself and in your intuition. And even this is for everyone, because I feel like intuition is very underrated, and everyone should have it, even to communicate with other people, to live your life. But when it comes to like learning and everything, I also feel like you yourself can be a very good teacher. I personally started with, I made my first deck. I grabbed like pieces of paper, cut them into little cards, and wrote the things there, because I didn't have a lot of money at the time, so I couldn't afford tarot decks. And so I started that way. I would look at the time I looked at BD Tarot. For me, she really helped. And I started there. Then I grabbed a tarot deck and I started dealing with that. And then you can also, for example, even just by watching YouTube readings, that has happened with me a lot. I have one specific YouTuber, tarot reader, that it's MJ from Soulful Revolution. I totally recommend her. But again, it's like Aaradhana said, it's up to you. It's what you who you feel connected with. And for me, MJ was really it. And I've learned a lot from it, just from watching her tarot readings. And sometimes I still do that. The reading doesn't even resonate with me, but I watch the whole reading just so I can see what she says. And everyone has a different interpretation of the same card. And a lot of it also comes from intuition. And everyone has different strategies. And you can pick up on those things if you watch tarot readings on YouTube, for example, that are more accessible, and especially me, speaking from a place that at the time I didn't have a lot of money and I couldn't afford a lot of things. I couldn't make big investments. I feel like you being self-disciplined and making the effort, taking the action to learn in whatever way you can, that is already a great development. And then you risk, and practice is also a great thing. So I started my YouTube channel because I was tired of practicing on friends. I wanted to practice with more energy. I wanted to practice with more stuff. And that's how I started. And I grew a lot because of it. So you
Right.
can be an amazing teacher as well. And you need
Yes.
to trust yourself too.
True.
So true.
Yeah.
Gosh, I always feel like one session is less for the questions that always have in my mind.
It's been 2 hours.
It is such a it is such an unknown field, right? That you always
Yes.
have a lot of questions going in yourself that you can always ask. But yeah, we'll stay connected so that I can get rid of my questions easily. Because
I am already connected with the two of you, so
now even I think I need to because I have questions
Yeah.
about myself and also about the whole thing.
It will come. It will come eventually. Eventually.
Yeah.
Yeah.
how do you have
Okay.
questions? Yeah, you have all the answers to my questions. How do you get questions?
Who, me?
Yes,
Why
I'm
not?
telling you, Tanushri has been one counselor I have had for the past almost 6 to 8 months right now.
Don't term things like counselor and stuff. Don't do that.
No,
But that's like
seriously, I
healing,
mean,
right? Because it's like, she's venting out her emotions and you're listening to her. So counselor is like a healer. So there is a part of you that's ready to accept and help her.
Yeah,
you
So that's
that's
how
also
you
get
are
into
a
tarot
part in this
reading
field
now,
as well.
Tanushri.
definitely. I when they were talking about it, I was just having a vision of myself with the deck that if I can do it or not, if that is a
Wow.
possibility.
So it happens like, when you see, then you want to learn as such. And then because it's curiosity, that's what humans are all about.
Yeah, exactly.
So
That's so
I mean,
true.
just go.
And if I ever come to you for learning, in the starting days, just teach me something that that is not very very confidential or something. So like I know. Like just a like, what do you say? Just give me a run through. कि ऐसा होने वाला है.
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay,
So yeah,
so shall we end it?
let's
It's
wrap it
almost
up.
11 here.
It's actually
oh
11.
my God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You guys have had dinner,
We
right? I
started
suppose.
we started at 9, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, we
At
First
started.
9
half
we
an hour
started.
was
We started at 9.
we started at 9, no?
9 is a
Yeah.
good number.
Yes.
Yeah.
I have office tomorrow, so let's end it. 8:30 I have to be in the office.
Yeah.
Okay. So thank you so much, both of you, for joining us today on such
Thank
short
you.
notice. And it's been a really interesting conversation that we had. I loved each and every bit of it. Thank you so much once again to all the viewers out there. Stay home, stay safe, stay tuned. We'll be back with more podcast content. We'll be adding the Instagram handles on our IGTV video, and we'll be on YouTube hopefully by this weekend. Fingers crossed. So, yeah. Thank you so much once again for joining us. And well, till then, see you soon.
Yes. Bye.